No, my mustang get no color. Yeah, my mustang. Hi guys, can you determine what I'm going to talk about today? By any chance, let me give you a hint. How's that? We'll give you another hint, guys. We'll give you another hint. How about another hint? Just so I don't want you to not get the wrong answer, but we're going to talk about carbon steel pans today. This is a pan I bought recently, and I forgot the name of it. I always forget the name of this pan for some reason, but it was really inexpensive. I think it was around $35. And it's got a nice long handle on it. Look at that handle. Wow. It's and it's riveted in here. So the handle is riveted. It's well used. I did a video on this, on seasoning it, but I don't know, something happened. I lost the initial video, but one of these days I might get a different one of these pans, different size, and season it. It's half the price of a Dubuyer. It's a little thinner than the Dubuyer, so if you're going to use it in the oven at 500, 600 degrees, you could try it. It might warp in the center. I've never had any problems with this warping. But if you're going to use real high heat in the oven, inside the oven, 500 degrees or so, then use a thicker pan. Example, this one over here is a Matford Bouguet pan. And then this one here I use every day. I use both of these pans. This is a, oh come on, I'll put the link down below. It'll come to me in a minute. You know, when you get old you forget. Both of them are well seasoned. I use them both for eggs. That's another day for another story. But this one I would not use in the oven because it's pretty thin. It's real light, and I just use it for eggs on the top. It's fine. This one I use it in and out of the oven. This one I'm using in the top because what am I going to do with this? Well, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do with it. I have this thing about Spam lately. I never used to eat it when I was younger, but now I eat a lot of it. And the one thing people have a complaint about is it's too salty. Salt is easy to get out. I'm going to run another short video on how you remove the salt. They don't put the salt in for flavor. They put it in to make the food last longer. In fact, I think the expiration date on this is like up to 5 years sometimes. Yeah, 2024. I don't know if you can read that. That's when you have to eat it by. So, and it's probably already a year old on the shelf. But I use the hot and spicy a lot if I'm making stir fry in my carbon steel pan. The hickory smoke, I'm going to show you how I'm going to use that in a minute. The bacon, I like this one too. The one I've got here that I've already prepared, and I'll show you how I did that. Then you have the regular Spam. You can buy it every day. They're all the same price, by the way. And then the one I just tried now is from Denmark. It's a lot cheaper. I got all these. I got all of these here at where did I get it at? Walmart. Okay, Walmart. Except this one I bought at Sam's Club, and this is made in, where is it made? Denmark. And it's about 50 cents cheaper than Spam. I've had it. It's really good for the price. It's about the same ingredients. And that's one thing I like about the ingredients of Spam, is that it's just some real basic stuff. There's not a lot of preservatives, no MSG in it. The countries that use it most is Guam, probably because of World War II. They consume the most, and Hawaii is second, and then the United States is the third, and me, here in my kitchen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I took the Spam and I can't show you right now, but I cut it up. I have a slicer that cuts this, it's made for Spam and cheese or whatever. And so I get 10 slices. And what I'll do is I'll cut these in half, and there's a reason I'm going to do that. And I boil it for 5 minutes, and when it starts to float to the surface, I know that the salt is going from the Spam into the water. When it starts floating up, usually about 5 minutes, I take it out, rinse it one time under some cold water, and let it sit and dry for a couple of minutes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a knife, I'm going to cut this in half, each one, and you'll see me then. I'll put it over here. I will be using some olive oil. You can use any oil you want. Olive oil is fine. It's not going to get to a real high temperature. You can eat this the way it is, all this. You don't have to cook it. It's perfectly fine to eat, which is great for camping. But I just like to pre-cook it just a little bit, just so that it gets a little bit crispy, and then even when I'm making my eggs, I'll throw it in for a couple minutes to heat it up. So let's begin the show, and I'll show you how it works, okay? I'll be right back. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some olive oil. You could use butter if you want to. I just use olive oil, and not too much, just a little bit. And I take it in, take it in. I put it in, take it out with a fork. and I put it on a plate like this, plate, fork, And then we'll let this heat up a little bit. But this particular I'm going to use, this is turkey spam. I forget what I'm using. Spam. Turkey spam. And I don't know if I like it yet, so I only buy 1 can of it. If I like this flavor of the spam, I buy a whole bunch of it because sometimes it's really hard to get. I know that Costco, if you're from the United States, you're familiar with it. Costco or Sam's Club, and in fact even Walmart, was out of spam for months. Every time I go in, where's your spam? We don't have any. When are you going to get it in? We don't know when we're going to get it in. So when I got it, I bought several cases of it. It's stuck down in my basement. I'm not worried about it through the expiration date because it'll last 5 years. So that's my story on spam. I like bacon, but in a way I like spam because I add flavors to it. And I'm going to show you how I do that in a few minutes. So I'm letting this heat up a little bit. We're going to stick some of it in right now. I kind of put it in with my fingers, but you want to be careful. You don't want to splash it because that oil is pretty doggone hot. And it might sizzle because there's still some water in it. Oh. When I first start boiling this for 5 minutes right out of the can, after I sliced it, you want to slice it first. I found that it was all nicely lined up in the pan that I was boiling, and then as time went on, I noticed that the outside edges were floating to the top, and I went, why is that? So I use a chopstick. Where's my chopstick? Hold on. Oh, here it is. I use a long chopstick. What I do is I go and I separate the pieces. I'll show you when I do this. Better picture worth 1,000 words. And then I found what's happening was probably need a little bit more oil in here. Olive oil is pretty good for you, so it's not really good with high temperatures, but we're not running this at 500 or 600 degrees. Probably too much oil, but. And I know I'm going to get some comments. You put too damn much oil in it. You know, I had a shaving website for double-edged razors, and I might, if I'm lucky, if I get in a couple months, I might get maybe 10 or 15 comments, and I never really had any bad ones. But I'll tell you something with cooking, like what I'm doing right now. I'll probably get 100 comments. You're doing it wrong. You do this. You do that. You have too much oil. You don't do it this way. You don't do it that way. But I'm only telling you, there's a lot of ways to do this. This is the way I do it. It might not be right for you, but for me it works, and you might just give it a try, okay? What I'll do is I'll let it in there a little bit, and then I'll just pick it up like that, if I can. It's still stick to the bottom yet. And then I'll just flip them over, like that. See the color of that? That's what I like to see. A little bit of brown on there. You don't want to leave it too long because you don't want to get it, you know, black and crispy, unless you like black and crispy. But now what I'm going to do is, I had some sweet and sour sauce sitting off to one side, and I put that on last time, and it was really good. I'm going to show you how that worked out. But you might think, oh, that's going to ruin the carbon steel pan. No, it doesn't. I beat these things up. I just use them. They're workhorses. You know, I'll scrub them out. You know what? I'll re-season it if I have to. I don't care. I just like them. I can depend on them. They're my friends. That sounds kind of weird. I do have a life besides cooking, you know. So, all right, let's turn these over. The height is a little heat. The heat is a little high, so I'm going to turn it down to low right now. And sometimes you'll find that in your pan, there's certain spots that are, it's already turned over, that are more brown than the other, probably because of the heat distribution. Now I'm going to put some other pieces in here. All right, I'll be right back. I'm going to show you what I'm going to put in here. All right, after I almost banged the camera over trying to get in the refrigerator, I use this, Kraft's. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can see it. The Kraft sweet and sour sauce. You could use any sweet and sour sauce. That's just what I have. I'm using. You could use anything you want. You could use soy sauce if you wanted. But what I'm going to do is just drizzle a little bit of this over the top. Not a whole bunch. Just about like that. You don't need a lot because as you turn it over, it'll kind of mix in with the oil. Just about like that. That's more than enough. And it really gives it just a real super nice flavor, and it gives a whole new definition to eating spam. For those of you who are not spam lovers, but I'm trying to make you become a Spam lover. It's great for camping out. I'm supposed to be going to the air show coming up here at the end of July in Oshkosh, and guess what I'll be taking with me? Pre-cooked Spam. Then I'm going to do this, and I put it in a container with some ice cubes, and I'm all set. Let's take this off of here. They usually stick one time on the bottom, and then after that they come loose pretty well. I might put a little more sweet and sour on the other side. I mean, it's a real simple, what I do is, all right, the slicer I have, I'm going to dig it out here in a minute, and I'm going to show you while this is cooking. I think this one has, when you buy them, they have like 8 slices or 9 or 10. I like about this size. I think this is a 10 slicer. When I post it, I'll make sure I got the right one up there. Let me put another couple pieces in there. Okay, like this. Another one on the side. Let me dig this thing out. I was washing it off. Okay, this is my slicer. I'm going to hold it away. This is my slicer. So it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 slices. And those are almost, for me, it's the perfect width. And you might, after you use it, you want to make sure that you get the wires in here. You can't see it because of the background. I just take a cloth or a sponge and I make sure that the stuff is off. I wash this off and I turn it over the same side. Now let it dry before I put it back in this box. It comes in a box like this. Yeah, this is the. Can you see that? Let me back my camera off a little bit. There you go. See, it's a luncheon meat slicer. Perfect slices every time. Easy to use, perfect slices. And it gives you little instructions in the back. Do a lot of stuff with it. But I use that just for Spam. That's all I use. Use. I sound like Italian. I'm not Italian, but use. That's the way I use it. Sorry. This is not a perfect video. It's just showing you how to cook something. Maybe you don't have any idea. Maybe you probably know a hell of a lot more than me. But I'm going to show you anyway. Because it's a kind of a crappy day out today, I haven't got anything else to do. Yeah, actually I do. I went out and I weeded my garden today because I got the best deal in town. I went and bought some peppers. And I bought a whole flat of peppers and tomatoes. I think it was $12. And I had 23 pepper plants and 19 tomato plants, and they're all growing like crazy. It's the best $12 I ever spent in my life. All right. We're going to start turning these over, and I want them to almost turn like all of them like this. So the ones in the back, for some reason, usually hold the heat brown easier. If you try to do this in a stainless steel, they're not going to brown as quickly and as nicely. Nicely? Wow. Okay. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to turn the heat up just a notch. I'm going to go to about 1.5 on this gas stove here. And what I do is I'll take 2 of these and make 1 egg, and then when I eat it, I'll show you. I'll do a recipe with that, a video of what I eat every day for breakfast. I put a little drop of ketchup on it. Of course, I use GMO, everything GMO as I can get. Because now you don't know what the hell they're putting in your food, and it just, that pisses me off. Sorry about swearing, but I gotta tell you, I'm really not happy about that. My friend was in the hospital and I had to take her food, because the hospital food, that stuff will kill you if you eat it. They still have tilapia on the menu. Now this is about right, so I'm just gonna take this out and put that right on my plate, Spam, fork. Because now I'm going to put these in a smaller container, and then I'll keep them in the refrigerator. And this will last me almost a week for all the food I want to eat. This is done. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. Maybe I didn't adjust the camera right. I guess you can. You guys are supposed to say stuff and help me out here, but you're not doing such a hot job. Let's move this around a little bit. Get it over to the hot side of the pan. And I was wondering why that happens, and I think because where I'm standing in front of the stove, the air comes in, but over here, it kind of captures the area, the heat in that area, and I just bumped the camera. Let's see if it's still there. Alright, let's get this over here. It seems like the tongs and the fork don't seem to hurt it at all. Alright, let's put some more in. We got a lot more to go here. I mean, I had just a touch more oil. Let's move this around. This is like a chess game to see if you can get it in there on 2 panfuls. Panfuls? Platefuls? Panfuls. Alright, there we go. I'm going to give it a touch more oil. Not much, but just good enough. You just have to be a little patient with it. But if you're having a company, you know, for guests and that, don't tell them you have Spam, because a lot of people say, oh, you know, and once you remove the salt, boy, you can put anything on it. It really tastes pretty darn good. You can cut it in pretty designs and make hors d'oeuvres out of it. And then they'll say, what's that? Then at the end, after they've made donations to your party, then you can tell them it's Spam. And this sugar in the sweet and sour will not hurt this pan. I had what did I make? Oh, I took up one of my first peppers in and I saute it. They're a little bit too acid. I'm going to take this one out. You see how that looks? That's the way you want to take it out. That's the way I take it out. I'm not telling you what to do. But, yeah, the pan. Here's another one. Yeah, back to my peppers. I had 1 pepper, and usually what I'll do is, I don't have the type of peppers this year that I can. Usually I do all my own canning. I put up like maybe 100, 200 jars of peppers. But the peppers I have this year aren't the kind that you really can. So what I did is I guess you could can them. But I took one and I cut it, took all the seeds out. And then I said, wow, I got to stir fry it. Now they're pretty acid. You don't want to use a lot of acid in a carbon steel because it has a tendency to eat the patina off. No big deal, you just re-season it again if that happens. But so I used one of my old, where is it here? Yeah, it was not a Teflon, but I'm going to show you. Let me grab it out. I used this pan right here. I think let me pull it back. This is from, it's hard to see with this. I have to pull the camera way back. Let me pull it back. Okay. This is what I use, and when I put the oil in, actually I use butter because I like sauteing in butter. And what happened was, the doggone peppers were sticking to the bottom of the pan. And that's supposed to be a stick-free pan. Oh, let's back it off a little bit, too close. I'm going to make your eyes blurred. Okay, there you go. So I was surprised, I had to scrub it to get the peppers off the bottom. Now it's just butter. Now the reason that they pop like that is because there's a lot of moisture in it from the water yet. I didn't leave it drain too long. When I take it out of the boiling water, I put it on a plate, put this on a plate, this here. And then I set it like that, and then the excess water will drip out, and then I wash it under cold water with that, and then I put it on the board like you first saw when you came in. Like you came in, right? You're in my studio, right? In my kitchen. And, oh, here's a nice one right there. Okay, let's move these all over. I have an egg recipe. I watch a lot of, what's his name? The guy from England. Hell's Kitchen. You know who I mean? It'll come to me in a minute. He's British. And he makes scrambled eggs, which are actually terrible. But I'd love to run a competition with him with my eggs, and I'm going to show you how I make them. Probably this week I might shoot another video. Once you eat these eggs, you'll never go back again. Trust me, to the way you eat eggs before. I started out experimenting with the Cantonese eggs in my wok, and then I start changing the recipe a little bit, and I actually really love my recipe. Here we go, we're coming down to the end, guys. I gotta put a little bit of sauce on that. I forgot to do that. You didn't remind me. What's the matter with you? You're supposed to help me out here. I know you guys got your popcorn and your, what are they? Junior mints. Remember those? When you go to the theater? You got those and you're sitting back just being entertained by me here. Taking notes, I hope. Ouch. Sometimes that grease jumps up and bites you in the butt and it hurts. All right, let me turn these over. These are not going to be in too long. What I do in the end, since the, wow. I could use a spatula, but, you know, I'm too stubborn. These are getting ready to come out. Wow. I've got so many burns on my hands. Like this one I'm going to take out. This I'm going to take out. What I'll do, I'll leave that in a little bit longer. This one too. What I do at the end with the sauce in here, after I put it in a jar, like a small Pyrex jar or container, and then I pour the sauce over the top of it, and then I put it in the refrigerator. I just turn this off. I might show you how I do that too. I'll have to shut the camera off in a minute. I'm going to put this, leave that in there for just a second. I'll be right back. There we go. My battery's running low, so I gotta end this up pretty soon. But I have these are like Pyrex. Actually, see, oven safe. I got a whole set of them at, I don't know, Sam's Club or someplace. I really like square containers because they're easy to fit. Why they made round containers, I have no idea. I'll just start stacking these in here on top of each other, and believe it or not, they'll all fit perfectly. And then I'll take the sauce and I pour it over the top of them from the frying pan. And this will be enough for, this will hold me for the whole week. And if you're on a diet, you just go in the refrigerator, you grab one or two of them and they're cold, and munch away. They're really tasty. They don't taste like the Spam right out of the can. They taste much better. Okay, we got a couple more here. And I start ticking them down the edge like that. Believe it or not, we will get them all in. Just like this, one more. There we go. Now I'm going to move this plate out of the way. And make sure that you guys, I'm in the picture here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my spatula. I've got a spatula. Take the pan. I'm going to scrape all the juice, and I'll just pour that sweet and sour sauce with the oil right over the top of it. Bingo! Alright, now what I'll do is I won't put that in the refrigerator right now. I'll let it cool down. And tomorrow I may shoot another video of what I'm going to do with these. I'll take a couple slices out and I'll show you how I prepare my breakfast. Really simple, fast, but I have enough now for a whole week. I don't have to worry about it. One time, boom, I make it. So I make about one a week, one Spam a week of different flavors. So we're going to see how this tastes. This is turkey Spam. I've never had it before, but we're going to try it out. Thanks for stopping in. I'll have some other videos coming up on different types of Spam, how I slice it. I think it's important. I'll put some dinks. I'll put some links down below, guys. And I'm sure you're going to have some comments, good, bad, and indifferent. Hey, I can handle it. Thanks for stopping in. We'll catch you later. This is Robin Hood taking off. Bye.